everyone, welcome to this week's edition of Show Me How It's Done. My name is Lauren Urbonis and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Now this week I want to show you an adorable little card using the charming Duck Pond bundle and a fun little blending spritz technique. So the charming Duck Pond bundle is available in our 2024 to 2025 annual catalog. It does have a lot of coordinating products like some designer series paper and some embellishments, but there is also this adorable little stamp set and coordinating dies. I have some of them out already, including my favorite die, which is this guy here, and we're going to use that to cut some of our pieces out in just a second. Now, what I would like to mention, it is still currently June 2024, and for this month only, Stampin' Up! Was offering an additional 10% off their discounted bundle prices. So usually when you purchase a bundle, Stampin' Up! Gives you 10% off the stamp and the die from that set as a thank you for purchasing them both together. This month, Stampin' Up! Is offering another 10% off of that price. So it's a really, really good deal. If there are any bundles from our new catalog that you're interested in, I did put my website down at the bottom, laurenurbonis.stampinup.net. And I would love to invite you to shop if you need a demonstrator in Canada, or message me if you have questions. All right, so let's get going here. We're going to make this adorable little card. I think I'm going to make a couple tweaks on my next sample, starting with the base. So when I started designing this card, I wanted just kind of a very bright sunshine and water look in the back, and I mounted it on Daffodil Delight, which is very cute. But because of the amount of yellow in my sunshine background, I thought maybe I should try and mellow it out. So I'm going to try a background this time of Flirty Flamingo. It's going to be 4 1/4 by 11, and I put a score mark here in the middle at 5 1/2, so I can fold this in half and make a perfect card. So this card here, I'm going to also fold a little bit differently because I thought it would be fun to have it stand up. All right, so this version will fold upwards. This one here on the left, you can see how fun that is. So your choice, you can go with the Daffodil Delight, you can try Flirty Flamingo, you can even try something different. But we're gonna start with a couple pieces of white cardstock. You'll need 2 of them. They are both going to measure 4 by 5 1/4. And we're going to mount one to the front and one to the inside. So let me get my workspace open here. And we're just going to add some double-sided tape. That's my go-to adhesive. But we also have great glue or seal, whatever you prefer. All right, now because these are both the same measurements, it does not matter at this point which one goes on the front or back. If you're somebody who's a little worried about stamping things ahead of time and might want the other side visible, if you are thinking you're going to stamp on the inside of your card, maybe do that before you go ahead and attach this to the inside. But it's up to you, and you don't even have to put anything on the inside if you don't want to. So we're putting that full piece on the front and this full piece on the inside here. And then later, while I'm busy stamping other things, I can go ahead and add some details. All right, so now for our next feature. This is going to be probably the messiest part of your project. So we're going to cut ourselves a little window sheet. And this is going to be 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Now I'd like you to move your base out of the way, and eventually I'm also going to move this out of the way. So some sort of scrap. I've grabbed myself just like a dried out baby wipe, but a paper towel or something underneath your workspace for this would be good, because when you spritz some of your rubbing alcohol, it might come off the paper and you don't want that getting onto other things. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose some blends colors. So for my first card here, I just did the light Misty Moonlight and the dark Daffodil Delight. But I think I want to break up my skyline a little bit. So I'm going to try to add in a little bit of dark peach pie and see if I can't make more of a sunset look here. But we'll see. It may work, it may not. And that's okay. So we're going to start with, I guess, this middle part here. This is my peach. And I'm just scribbling all the way across here with my blends. And then I've got my daffodil. It's going to go above. I can also blend it together a little bit to give myself like a little bit of a middle ground. And then the blue for my water down below. Now, if you do not have any of the Stampin' Up! Aqua painters, which are super easy and fun to use, you can use a spritz bottle or something like that. And you'll need to fill it with the 99% rubbing alcohol. So that's not the regular stuff you get off the shelf at Shoppers Drug Mart. That's about 70%. I've been able to find the 99% at Costco, but you also could probably ask around. And the reason being is this stuff is actually a lot more powerful. And my markers are currently dried onto the window sheet. So if you use water, it's not going to do anything. It's going to just make a little bit of a mess and not give you what you're looking for here. So I'm going to move this out of the way because I don't want to spritz it. I'm going to grab my little spritzer with rubbing alcohol, and I'm moving kind of well above it because I'd rather be far away and have to move closer than to have just this blob of color in the middle. So start spritzing from the top to the bottom, and you'll start seeing your colors kind of reacting. Do you see how they're starting to move already? You can give them a few seconds to just start to bleed, but you do really want them to run a little bit more than they are right now, just not into each other. So add a little bit more here. There we go. And then what we're going to do is to grab our heat tool to set that color a little bit. It will probably dry on its own, but this will be quicker. It won't make a mess. So you can't hear me. Just be careful not to move the colors around as much. You just want to go right on top and set the color in place. It's okay if a little color runs, especially along the edge, because we're going to be covering that up. But for the most part, my other colors are set now. I'm going to set this aside so that anything I missed drying, it will still have a chance to finish up, and then we'll come back to that part when we're ready to put this card together. So our next little job is going to be cutting out this silhouette look. So I realized you could easily replicate this card and make it in a different color scheme. You could add color to the ducks and the frogs, but I thought it was really fun to kind of add just a plain monochromatic tone to it. So I'm cutting myself a piece of Night of Navy. That's going to be 3 3/4 by 5. And then you'll also need a scrap piece of Night of Navy so that you can cut out some of your ducklings and your frog and stuff. So what I've done already is I've cut out one baby duckling because the die that I have, it just cuts out one at a time. So I just want to do one pass through, and I will do one baby duckling, one mama duckling, and a wing for my adult here as well. And then I've also gone ahead and done a little frog. So that's an adorable part of the stamp. I could have just done the silhouette, and you probably could guess it's a frog with a lily pad, but I just took some Night of Navy ink and I stamped a frog on Night of Navy paper. So tone on tone gives me a really fun little look for my frog. that one's done. And then I have pre-cut 2 little flowers. The die cuts 2 at once from the Flirty Flamingo. So let's grab my cut and emboss machine and we will run these pieces through. I know it might be a little blurry for you guys, but I've got my board. I don't know where to put this. Okay, so there's your board. You're going to start with the large piece here, and I'm putting it roughly in the center of my workspace. I want enough space down in the bottom to put a little sentiment, and then just a little space on the top. You'll notice there's really no room on the right and the left, and that is okay. It's because I wanted a nice white and color border. So this guy we're going to run through, and because my little scrap piece is so small, I can also fit it right on the bottom of that tray. You'll see it when it comes out the other end. Okay, so making my nice little sandwich. I'm gonna roll this through. When you have really detailed dies like the grasses, I do like rolling it back towards myself again. Hopefully then all of the grass is cut properly. Okay, so when I lift this frame off of here, just be very gentle. The middle will fall out. And then you have this gorgeous little frame worth of pieces. And then we've got our cute little duckies, the pieces on the bottom here. So I'm just gonna grab my take your pick tool to poke those out. This piece with the wing does cut out a beak as well. So if you're doing this, you know, in yellow or orange, you can actually have the duck beak, but we're not using that for this guy. And the duck cuts out the silhouette, plus it does also have a multicolor option. So if you're cutting out the baby duck in colors, you would do this one in orange and then this one in whatever color you wanted the duck to be. But again, we're doing monochromatic, so I don't need that or the little wing. And then Mama Duck comes out just beautifully. Okay. These pieces here, I would suggest don't throw this away. This is what I could have used to cut my frog and second baby duck out of, or I could have even used it to cut Mama Duck out in the first place too. So use this, don't throw them away because it's a nice chunk of cardstock. All right, bringing back my base, and I will grab my other base now because we should be good to go. So we're going to do a little bit of piecing this together. I have my window sheet, like so, and it will fit inside this space. But instead of risking something showing through, I'm actually going to attach it first to my blue background. So here is your key. You're going to take your blue background, turn it over, and where you want the window sheet to touch, which is around the edges, you're going to put some really skinny tape. So I have the 1/8 of an inch Suquang, and I just find it's much easier to use. You know what? I'm going to do that a little differently. I like that look. Hold on. Sorry. I'm going to switch you around. Not doing that. I'm going to put the tape along my window sheet here. Doesn't really matter which side I do it on. It's kind of up to you. They should both look about the same. So I'm going to switch this. Let's put our Suquang tape along the edge of the window sheet. And I'm actually going to pop that navy one up on dimensionals so you get a little bit of depth to your picture. Here we go. Sorry about that. So your window sheet shouldn't have warped that much. If you put your heat tool really close to it, it might be bending, and in which case you will be a little frustrated at this point, but once you get it on the paper with tape around the perimeter, you should be okay. So this will just go nicely right in the center of this white. I know it looks really ugly at the moment. That's okay. Okay, we're gonna cover that up though. I'm popping this one up on dimensionals now. I think that will look really good. You just want to make sure you have dimensionals all the way around the perimeter of this frame so it's nice and supported. Probably will use a few more dimensionals than I usually do, just because there's so many fine details. That's the nice thing about this die is I just cut things once and I had all those details at my fingertips. All right, take all your backings off. I have my all-day retreat. I do one every spring and one every winter, and this is one of the bundles that we're playing with this weekend. So I've had lots and lots of ducks on my table lately, and I figured I had to share something with them. There will be some cards coming out soon using the designer series paper. I'll show you at least one, maybe two of the cards that we made at the retreat. There we go. So now you can decorate this however you want. What I did was simply a suggestion. I actually kind of used the catalog here. I'll show you. It's on page 44. You see this little scene here with the mama duck and the two babies. I used that as the inspiration for my duck placements, but it's completely up to you how you finish that off, okay? So I like to start with mama duck because she's kind of the center of the card, and you can work her little ducklings around afterwards. But yeah, I don't know. I think I do like that little peach in there. You can see it a bit, not a ton. She's gonna look like she's kind of floating for a second, but once you get her ducklings in the water, it'll be fine. So all of those are being popped up on dimensionals. Just the mama duck, tucking little baby duckling behind one of the lily pads on one side, as well as the other side. Maybe mama duck needs to move up a little. The nice thing about window sheets is it's very easy to move things on them. You can pull your adhesive up and put it straight down again. There we go. Then I've got a little frog. He's going to go up on dimensionals. Before I add the flowers, we're going to make this little tag here. There we go. Okay, now often I have things pre-cut, but I thought maybe it would be a good idea to kind of show you guys how to use our Stampin' Trimmer if you're not familiar with it. So I'm debating at this very moment. I think I should match my background. I had pulled out a yellow, but I think I should match my background instead. So I'm going to pull out some Flirty Flamingo, and then I'm just going to grab a scrap piece of white. And because this isn't a standard 1-inch rectangle, I thought it would be a great opportunity to highlight our little tool here. Okay, so this Stampin' Trimmer is great. It's got all of the measurements that you need along the top here. So it's got both inches and centimeters, so whichever market you're in. And there is a cute little arm that extends if you need something super long. We do not today, so keep that closed. And we're going to cut ourselves a little decal here for the front. So my rule of thumb is whatever I've made this in width, like the navy piece, I'm going to take 1/4 inch off. Okay, so my navy piece was 3 3/4. So that means I would like my little rectangle for this time to be 3 1/2. Okay, so I'm going to bring this over here and I've got 3 1/2. Go to that long piece here, 3 1/2. You have 2 different blades. You have one that's gray. It's got kind of this rotary. It's a scoring blade. So you're going to move that out of the way. Just cut down 3 1/2. Now for the width of this, I'm not doing a full inch. I don't like how that looks. So I'm actually just going to try to, I don't even think 3 3/4. I think I went 5/8. So you can do it on this left-hand side, but the nice thing is with our trimmer, it also has measurements on the right. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find half, which is the measurement that I'm doing this white piece at. And then I'm going to go 2 tick marks past, which is going to make 5/8. Okay. There we go. So that's a really nice feature about this cutting tool is you can find measurements for small items on the left, and then you don't have to try to look over your dominant hand, which most of us are right-handed, to find that. Okay, so now we need something to go inside of this. So this was 3 1/2 inches wide. So I'm going to make the next cut 3 1/4. That will go right here. Oh, I might have gotten lucky with my scrap. Hold on. Let's measure you. Okay, this is 1/2 inch. So I'm not going to waste this piece. I'm going to use this one. I want a piece that's 1/2 inch wide. So now I'm going to recut this one at 3 1/4. You'll want this piece to be 3 1/4 by 1/2 inch wide. All right, so a couple little features about the scoring tool. It's fun to use. Night of Navy ink is my ink of choice for this card. I used it on the frog. I'm going to use it on my sentiment. I like this little You Make Me Happy. And then we're going to use it on the inside of the card too. So we're stamping as close to the right-hand side as we can because we want to leave a little space for that flower there. So You Make Me Happy, you can see right through it. And go ahead and leave your ink pad open because we might as well add a little bit of detail to the inside of this card here with these grass reeds. Okay, so this one, we'll stamp the grass, and then it gives you the option of stamping the little cattails separately, because usually we would make our grass green and the cattails yellow or brown, but I'm doing it together. So the key is just to line up the tips of the cattails to the top of each of the round bulbs. But there we go. There you are. So, easy peasy. You could certainly use other colors, but I'm going with navy this time. All right, now we're ready to finish up the last little bits of our card. So we're going to attach our sentiment piece together. I'm going to use tape or seal or glue to attach my white sentiment to the colored cardstock. And then we're going to pop that whole thing up on dimensionals so it stands out nicely. I might trim a little bit off this because I think it went a little long, but that's okay. Just line up to one side, and then all you can do is take your scissors and just snip off. So that's okay. Sometimes you realize you have things different once you get there. This one's going to pop up on a couple dimensionals. 2 or 3 would be good. I like to do both the edges and one in the middle. And then, now that I switched up my colors, My little brain is debating if I like pink flowers on this, or if I should go with another color. Uh-oh. Let's see here. Do I have any pre-cut in my stash? No, I have that downstairs. Okay, well, I think I'll go with pink for now. Maybe if I did this again, I would change this flower out to match maybe the peach pie, just to switch it up a little bit. That would probably be good. But this is what I have, so that's okay. We're gonna add just a little dot of glue. Do not add a ton because you'll be sad. And at the same time as you're adding that glue, go ahead and put a dot on your little ducky because she needs her wings still. Okay, so little dot on the mama duck, little dot on the lily pad, a little dot on your tag. Remember, less is more when it comes to these white glues. You really, really don't want them to be sticking everywhere. Okay. There's one. Oop. One. Perfect. I have glue on my hands, so things are sticking to it. Here's two. And wing is number 3. There you go. There. So you'll want to give those things a few seconds to dry, of course, before flipping the card open and writing in it. But overall, it's a pretty fun card, and what you can play with any colors you want in the background. Really, you could do like some blues and greens. You could make a lighter water or even a sunset. It's completely up to you, but I think it's kind of a fun look to have that in the back. So I hope you enjoyed that technique, and I would love to see what you guys create. If you don't have this bundle, maybe you have something else that you could use the window sheet technique for and just mount some silhouette dies on top of it. A couple examples might be the In the Grove bundle with kind of the nice tree frame. You could do a greenery or brown background or a sunset, and then add some little silhouettes of the little animals and whatnot. But that's just an idea for you. So I'd love to hear what you're using it for. And if you do follow me on Facebook on Learn Scrapplot, I always post the links for these videos. You can actually add your own photos in the comments, and I always love to see them. So please like and subscribe to my channel and this video. I really appreciate your support. Every little like or comment helps, and I'd love to hear what you guys are crafting on too. Bye.